This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Rick's Cafe duo plead not guilty to DRMA breaches. Rick's Cafe operations manager Thomas Martin and financial controller Conroy Barrett pleaded not guilty when they appeared in the Westmoreland Parish Court to answer to charges of breaching the Disaster Risk Management Act in relation to the Mocha Fest party hosted there in May. The men were charged amid public outcry over a video recording of scores of mostly tourist revelers floating COVID-19 health and safety protocols. They are scheduled to return to court on August 9. Attorney at law Peter Champagny said that Barrett's sole duty at Rick's Cafe is accounting and that he is not integrally involved in entertainment affairs at the establishment. Champagny told the court that Barrett had indicated that he informed the police when they first approached him that he was not involved in the organization of entertainment. Barrett made the same disclosure in an official statement at the police station, his attorney said. Murders up by 4% compared to same period in 2020. Jamaica's murder tally since the start of the year has increased by almost 4% when compared to 2020. There have been 667 murders, up from 644 last year. Area 4 headquarters, which covers the corporate area, recorded 259 murders. The Kingston Central Police Division had 36 murders, a 44% increase compared to the same period last year. Kingston East had 42 and Kingston West has recorded 54 murders. The divisions have seen an increase in gang violence over the last 3 weeks, leaving several persons dead and others injured. Jamaican dies after arriving at hospital with gunshot wound in Spain. Police investigators in the Spanish resort town of Estepona are reportedly probing the death of a Jamaican man who arrived at a private hospital with a gunshot wound on Sunday. The identity of the 34-year-old victim was not released. The Jamaican national was accompanied to the hospital with a young woman at daybreak, according to a report in the Spanish newspaper Euro Weekly. The man, who sustained a one-bullet wound, was later admitted, but his condition deteriorated, resulting in his death at the medical facility, the newspaper reported. Further details of the circumstances that led to the shooting of the Jamaican were not available, as the investigation was still at an early stage. An autopsy is to be performed on the body at the Institute of Legal Medicine of Malaga. Meanwhile, the homicide group of the Malaga Provincial Police Force has since taken over the probe into the Jamaican's death. Commissioner and resident dispute gang count in Norwood. Residents of the newly declared Zone of Special Operations ZOZO in Norwood have disputed the assertion of Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson that 6 gangs operate in the violence-plagued northwestern Jamaica community. This is where I lived all my life, and I know of 2 gangs, Hugger Lane Gang and Church Lane Gang, so I was surprised when I heard the commissioner talking about 6 gangs, said one of several residents who contradicted the disclosure on Sunday. It is important that the police know how many gangs are here so they know who to target. You can't start off with misinformation. That harks back to claims of faulty data grounded in the declaration of ZOZO in Mount Salem in September 2017. During Anderson's tour of Norwood on Monday, he brushed aside requests to name the gangs. I am not going to be naming them so that they get some sort of infamy or fame from me, said Anderson. We know who the gangs are and their names, but I am not going to particularly advertise any of them here. They are the problem in the community and they need to be in jail or change their ways. With the ZOZO into its 3rd day, the commissioner heaped praise on the security forces who seized 2 guns and 18 rounds of ammunition on Monday. He compared the achievement with those in Mount Salem, which took 14 days to turn out the first illegal firearm. Mount Salem is one of 2 ZOZOs operational in St. James and 5 in the island. The commissioner said that 7 persons in Norwood have been arrested since Sunday in relation to crimes including firearm and sexual offenses, as well as lottery scamming. Social intervention is a key deliverable of Zozo's, with Mount Salem emerging as a standard bearer with the replacement of zinc fences with concrete walls, as well as the issuance of birth certificates, taxpayer registration numbers, and passports to underserved residents. A community center has been refurbished and a new police station constructed. The commissioner said he could not pronounce on the scope of social benefits that would be rolled out in Norwood. "It's too early to say," said Anderson. "We really followed a clear hold-build strategy around zones of special operations, so in the early stages, we do a number of operations against the gangs, gang members, and other criminals." Veronica Campbell Brown announces retirement. Jamaican Olympic legend Veronica Campbell Brown has announced her retirement. One of Jamaica's most decorated athletes, the legendary sprinter affectionately known as VCB, made the announcement in an emotional post to social media. "Through the grace of God, I have climbed from a small town in Trelawney, Jamaica, up the ladder of success to become one of the most decorated women in Olympic Games and World Championships history," Campbell Brown said. "As I take off my spikes, never to put them on again, this girl from Clarkstown walks away happy and contented with a race well ran," she added. Campbell Brown's announcement comes a day before the start of the Jamaica Athletics Administrative Association's national trials for the Tokyo Olympics in Kingston. She had made a brief return to athletics earlier this year after a 2.5-year hiatus. The Olympian said she will now turn her focus to parenting and her entrepreneurial and charity ventures, including the VCB Foundation. Man sentenced to 10 years for sexually assaulting stepdaughter. A 35-year-old vendor who pleaded guilty to sexually molesting his 14-year-old stepdaughter was sentenced to 10 years in prison in the St. Catherine Circuit Court on Tuesday. He was convicted of having sexual intercourse with a person under 16 years old, grievous sexual assault, and assault at common law. The sentence was handed down by Justice Carol Lawrence Beswick, who ruled that he remain in prison for 7 years before becoming eligible for parole. It was also revealed that the convicted man, whose name is being withheld to preserve the child's privacy, has a similar offense pending. Facts of the instant case are that in 2015, the man sexually assaulted the child and threatened her with a machete. The child related her ordeal to her mother, and a report was made to the Center for Investigation of Sexual Offenses and Child Abuse. An investigation was launched and the man arrested and charged. Limited supply impacts second dose of vaccinations in Clarendon. A limited supply of AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines prevented some Clarendon residents from getting their second jabs today. The shots were being administered on the grounds of the Maypen Hospital. Medical Officer of Health for the parish, Dr. Kimberly Scarlett-Campbell, told the news that Clarendon received only 43 doses for today's exercise, which was insufficient. "We just had to give based on the availability of vaccines in the parish," Scarlett-Campbell said. She noted that the small number of doses being administered and digitized records allowed for a smooth process. She assured that those who did not get their second doses today will be contacted as soon as more vaccines become available in the parish. "We really want to complete the series, so we really want to finish up with persons who are to get their second doses," Scarlett-Campbell said. New Westmoreland JPs warned against selling services. Cognizant of claims that some justices of the peace are illicitly charging the public, Westmoreland Custos, the Reverend Hartley Perrin, has reminded 37 newly installed officers that their services must be voluntary. Perrin, who was speaking at the recent swearing-in ceremony for the latest cohort of JPs at the Sean Lavery Faith Hall in Savannah Lamar, said that he was aware that JPs in some parishes were breaching the law. "Your commission is that of a servant of the people, therefore you should not have any rate sheets that determine charges for your services," warned Perrin. "Do not bring your honorable position into disrepute." News surfaced recently that JPs in sections of Jamaica has been charging people between $500 to $40,000 to certify documents and verify the identification of persons. The Custos also urged the new JPs to demonstrate strong leadership. Perrin also encouraged the group to take advantage of additional training for service in lay magistrate court, which will help to reduce the backlog of cases, as well as to participate in counseling, restorative justice, and child diversion initiatives. The demand for JPs is so great and we don't want anyone to be overburdened, the Custos said. Therefore, we need to get more persons of goodwill, of decency, of integrity, of character to become leaders in their communities. There are almost 700 active JPs across Westmoreland. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.